Order, call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella?
Here.
Commissioner Hightower?
Here.
Commissioner Webb?
Here.
Commissioner Goff?
Here.
And Mayor Butler.
Here. Minutes of a public hearing, September 25. Any addition or correction? If not, they will be approved. We'll have a regular meeting also that same date. Any addition or correction to those minutes? If not, they will be approved. Now, it looks like we have several visitors here. Are all of you on the front row together? Oh, including back there.
And over there, we got a bunch of them.
And over there. Well, okay, is there a spokesperson?
There is.
Are we on? Okay, great, thank you. My name is Rich Henley. I am the founder, and the head coach for a Special Olympics agency called the Lightning Bolts. We were here a little less than a year ago, essentially looking for advice from the council of ways that we could fundraise in order to support our Special Olympics agency. We support about 45 athletes competing in 12 different sports. At that time, Mayor Butler and the council made a generous donation to our team. We went on to have a really great year. This little fellow standing here won his 6th state powerlifting championship. This young lady was a state champion in gymnastics.
Yes.
Well, great for them.
Our boys baseball team won their 2nd state championship. Our girls basketball team won their 4th consecutive state championship. Wow. And we had a flag football team that was invited to compete in a national tournament in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we put Southern Illinois on the map. We cleaned house down there. They will not soon forget who we are and where we came from. But to express our appreciation and our thanks, we have a plaque that we would like to present to Mayor Butler and the City Council. John, this is the famous John Henley. His partner here, Marissa Pendergrass, she just finished Global Messenger training. She's one of 3 global messengers in the area. She just finished, so we brought them up so that they could get a little FaceTime. Famous John is the guy with the 6 state powerlifting championships, and he's looking good again this year. So if you guys would like to, we have a plaque that we would like to present to the mayor and also to the city council. So if you guys would.
Well, that's very nice.
Now, turn around and look that way and spread it. Yeah, get a little bit apart.
You'll have the mayor in the picture. Right?
Yeah.
If I could.
Thank you.
Very briefly, if I could get all the athletes up. Mary?
Read what it says.
Mary is a piece of work. A couple of years ago, she was playing baseball in the state championship. Because of medical conditions, she was not supposed to run, so we would put her on the field and tell her, wait for a walk. And then walk down to first base, and we will either replace you or you walk to second base, but don't run, whatever you do, don't run. Well, she accidentally swung at the ball, hit it about 6 feet in front of the plate. The catcher was not quick, and her father jumped up and was screaming, "Run, Mary, run, run, run!" I said, no, Mary, don't run. But she ran, she made it, she got a run out of that. It was one of the most wonderful experiences ever. But indoor voices, guys, indoor voices, put it in. Feel the rhythm.
Feel the rhythm.
Feel the rhyme.
Feel the rhyme.
Lightning bolts.
Lightning bolt.
It's thank you time.
It's thank you time.
Oh, isn't that great?
I like to hear that in full volume now.
Thank you, sir.
And
Well,
read the plaque. It says, thank you, the famous Mayor Bob Butler and the Marion City Council from the famous Southern Illinois Lightning Bolt Special Olympics Agency. We thank you so much. It's truly appreciated.
we're proud of him.
And as John says, we're certainly proud of each and every one of you.
Yes.
And I believe you said that we contributed something in the way of money last year.
Not here begging.
Oh, you're not begging? No, you're just suggesting. How much did we contribute last year?
$1,000.
$1,000.
That made it possible for
Did that help out?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, okay.
We operate like the retired widow woman. We go from check to check, and scrape by.
Okay. You think you could get by with another 1,000 this year?
I think so, sir.
It would be of a little help, would it?
Yes, Your Honor. You certainly will.
Okay, what,
It's not on, well, you'll have,
We can agree to agree.
Yeah.
We can
Agree in
agree to agree.
principle.
Yeah.
Put it on next
I agree in
agenda.
principle with that.
yeah,
If we agree to agree.
we
sure,
agree to agree.
yeah. All right, the council has agreed that we will donate $1,000, but we can't take official action until our next meeting, put it on the agenda. And we will take care of it then. So we do appreciate all the good that you do, and we thank you so much for helping put Marion on the map.
Believe me, it's in Lincoln, Nebraska, they know who we are. They will not soon forget.
Oh, that's great. If I'm ever in Lincoln, Nebraska, then I should be welcomed with open arms. Okay, now, anyone else that we need to take up at this point in time? Yeah,
Jim Johnson. Can you take me up?
do you have something you want to present to the council?
Yes, I do.
5 minutes.
Oh, I didn't see him back there, over here.
Donate to me $1,000. My name is Jimmy. I'll take all you give me. Anyway, this is me.
Okay, what is your name?
Jim Johnson,
Jim Johnson, where do you live?
1205 North Van Buren.
In Marion.
Right.
You're a citizen of Marion.
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold forth.
I've been living here for a long, long time. So's my
You're
family.
not that old for it to be too long.
Well, I'm youthful looking. No one that gets me at my age, 63. But anyway, I've actually got a couple things I want to talk about.
Well, now, before you
Nothing
start,
major.
yeah, but before you start, let's understand your time is limited.
Okay.
So 5 or 10 minutes will be enough.
Okay, well, I'm just going to talk about a few things pretty quickly. Okay?
Yeah, okay, make it quick.
Number one is I'm still been having problems with people messing with my mom's property and my property. You know, just little head games like putting walnuts in front of air conditioners and doors and acting like they're going to tear over statues and cars driving by. There was 4 cars and 2 motorcycles at the same time taunting me the other night. So it's just constantly, you know, it's been going on. Sergeant Huddleston's over here. He can tell you that I call the police probably more than anybody in Marion over all the stuff that's been going on. But it's constant. I've had people walk around with 5-gallon gas cans and stuff like that, acting like they're going to burn something, just, you know. But anyway, it's basically the same peoples that are involved. It's the Jimmy Faulkner family, and it's this my neighbor that lives next to me a couple houses down. His last name's Finney with a PH, not an F. It's Michael Mitchell Finney. But he coordinates things on his cell phone, and he's got Venetian blinds with slits in them and watches me constantly. And anyway, people are constantly coming around, people throwing rocks at the mom's gazebo and just all kinds of crazy stuff. But I'm just letting you know it's still going on. But I've got a picture of a woman that's on a cell phone texting on the back deck because I put up cameras, you know. And so it's a coordinated effort. There's more than one person involved with it. Now, these people have been using kids, too, and women, because they figure if they get caught, they won't go to prison. Okay? So that's just where that's at. The other thing I'm here for, and I just want to talk to you about briefly, is I'm very concerned about this Friday, the 13th, here in October. And I've read things on the internet where they've said, see, the original Halloween, this is the first time in 666 years it's fallen on the original Halloween, which was All Saints Day and other pagan holidays, which was the 13th of October. And I'm really concerned with this particular date because I'm sure this has been planned out for years by the powers that be. This Kim Jong-un's that's always threatening to blow up the United States and all this stuff. President Trump calls him Rocket Man and all that. Anyway, I got on the cell phone, I got to thinking, and I thought, something's going to happen, and I'm really concerned about it. Something's really going to happen big, because these people, Halloween's one of these big Illuminati holidays, you know. So I got on the cell phone, and I thought, I'll just ask and see on my smartphone what's been happening in October the 13th or here the last several years. Well, this and I got a confirmation on this. This Kim Jong-un's Rocket Man, whatever, in 2015 he was hiding out from the public for 5 weeks, and it stated that he came out into the public on the 13th of October. So this is a pretty famous day with him, you know. I mean, he's using this day for something. And like I said, this day in particular, I'll go into that, what that's about. But what I think is going to happen, I tell you what I think is going to happen. I can be wrong, but I'm telling you now what I think is going to happen this Friday, okay? I have in my spirit what I think is going to happen. And I may be wrong, like I said, but I felt like I should come here and tell everybody, and hopefully get to President Trump or whatever. I think this nut in Korea, you know, Korea is just a satellite state for China. And the Chinese hate the Japanese with a passion. And they still teach in their schools, the grade schoolers and all, to hate Japan. And of course, really, they hate America too. So what I think they're going to do is I think they're going to nuke Hawaii. Because 92% of the Hawaiian Islands is owned by the Japanese. They'll just get, with one stone, they'll kill 2 birds, you know. That's what I think. Now, I may be wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. But something big's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you exactly why it's going to happen on the 13th of October. In 1307, Jacques de Molay was arrested by Philip IV for idolatry and heresy. That was Friday, the 13th of October. And ever since then, these were the Knights Templars, who were precursors of the Masonic Lodge. And the Masonic Lodge in particular has made Friday the 13th out to be a very scary day. We're all supposed to be afraid of Friday the 13th. And it's all because of Jacques de Molay being arrested on that day. So there are examples after examples after examples. October the 13th, where all these disasters take place. Just like Waco and Oklahoma City on April 19th. April 19th, according to the satanic calendar, inaugurates giving honor to the beast, which culminates May 1st. So this, they bombed Waco on April 19th, and then Oklahoma City 2 years later because of these holidays. And these are high holidays in the satanic calendar, just like Yule, December 23rd. That's in 1913 is why they erected the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which is an unconstitutional bank. Now, the only thing I think that has to be done, and really truthfully has to be done, I think Trump needs to write an executive order for a constitutional tribunal at the Williamson County Courthouse so we can legally and openly expose Illuminized Freemasonry controlled by the European Rothschild family and American Rockefeller families and 200 baking families as treason in the United States. Now, if the American people would come and we would do that, then our senators and our congressmen and our president would be forced to sign off the contrived federal deficit with a stroke of a pen, because they have put us under bondage with the art of usury that they learned from the Babylonians. These are Luciferian Jews. They even hate religious Jews. They hate anything that has anything to do with Yahweh or Jehovah. These people are Luciferians, and they hate Christians, and they hate Luciferian Jews. I mean, Jews that worship Jehovah, Yahweh, without Christ. They still hate them because they're religious Jews. These are Luciferian peoples. Now, that's what I believe needs to be done, and I would hope people would come together and ensure that that's done so we can get underneath this bondage. They don't ever expect us to pay off the federal deficit. They have climate control. They can make these tornadoes. They can make these hurricanes and all this stuff and get us more and more in bondage to the Federal Reserve Bank, which controls the United States government. And since it's primarily owned by a private enterprise bank, mainly the European Rothschild family, that makes it treason in the United States, because the Europeans own our government, right now. And that needs to be legally and openly exposed so we can have our Jubilee. Otherwise, now, you can believe what you want. When I was passing out that information a few years ago and said that last blood moon on the 13th of, I believe, September, I said they were going to collapse the economy. Well, they were close to collapsing that September, close to collapsing the United States of economy, and that's what they want to do. They just don't want you to know who's behind it. Now, the Rothschilds, there's 500, Fortune 500 organizations, you know, but the Rothschilds own them all. And the thing about it is, they would like to collapse the American economy and keep us under the bondage of that contrived federal deficit. They didn't even expect us to have.
Jim, we appreciate your knowledge and the factual statement you've made, but what are you addressing the city council for?
Well, you know, that treason in the United States that I wanted you to make copies of and send to every person here in Marion, Illinois, I still have copies of that very same one, and I would appreciate it if you would do it to get in their hands so we need to help President Trump. You see, they hate him with a passion, and they didn't think he was going to be elected president. They really were going to collapse our economy under Obama and then call it in a martial law. They didn't expect Trump to be president. So what we need to do is help him get this executive order done here at the Williamson County Courthouse with a constitutional tribunal, because the Supreme Court is controlled by the enemy. Now, that Justice Scalia, he was a Freemasonic ritual murder on the 13th. That was the 13th of... Let's see. I think I wrote that down.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, that's what I'm saying. If we had exposed that before, that would have never happened. There's a lot of things that would have happened.
Yeah, right.
The thing with Paris being bombed on the 13th of November. Okay. The reason they did that was because the French people were catering to Muslims more than what they were doing to Jews.
Okay, I appreciate all that, but the authority of the city council is limited.
Well, I'm only a resident, like you said. You acknowledge I'm a resident of Marion, okay?
Yeah.
And I can only do my part.
Right.
So I'm just asking you to do your part and help.
I think you've done that, and it'll be up to the council to try to decide what action, if any, should be taken.
But I'm afraid if nothing is done, we're going to have Hawaii or something even bigger, who knows, done on the 13th of this month. That's this coming Friday.
Well, the 13th is just around the corner.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this stuff that I gave you last year. If you want to make copies of it, it's up to you. But it's out of my hands. I've done what the Lord's told me to do. I can't do any more than what God's told me to do.
Yeah, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Jim.
We thank you. Okay,
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Anyone else have something we need to take up at this point? Okay, if not, let's move on. First order of business would... First order of business, consider approval of ordinance 3405. Gail, do you want to tell us, or Steve, somebody tell us what this is about?
Okay, I'll default to Steve Hale. This is an ordinance for refunding general obligation bonds from 2008. The ordinance is put together to, we have $2.5 million.
It'll be less than 2.5. 2.5 just is the max.
Come be both here with me.
Yeah, it'll be less than 2 point, just a little bit less.
This will be refunding that bond issue from 2008. It will allow savings, of which I will defer to Steve, about how much it will estimate savings on.
Yeah, along with, we'll end up getting a premium on the offering of about 50-some-odd thousand. And the way it's structured right now, we have 11 years left on the current bond issue. This bond issue that we're refunding will be a 10-year bond. So with the lower interest rate, we'll pay it off in 10 years. And so in the 11th year, we'll save around $220,000 because we won't have a payment then. So that's what the whole thing structuring is, to cut off a year. We won't see really any current savings, but in that final year, the bond will be paid off. Exactly. So we're going to be able to pay it off. The same amount of money we're kicking in now, we'll be able to pay it off in 10 years versus 11.
And that's in 2027.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really good.
It does not have a call provision, so the bonds will stay static, but we have a very good rate on these. And we have already had an underwriter, and we were just today issued the final official statement pending council approval.
Who's the underwriter?
Who is the underwriter?
Baker's Bank.
Yeah, Baker's Bank.
Did we have to get a new bond rating for that?
We did from Moody's.
Yeah.
We actually got the same rating.
Yeah.
Okay, so it
We
stayed
did
the
a
same.
conference
Good.
call with,
Yeah.
Steve and I did a conference call with Jeff Schupel and the Moody's board, and received a AA3.
Yeah, AA3.
Which is maintaining our same previous status.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Sounds really good. And then the ordinance itself is the boilerplate stuff. It's,
Exactly right. It's already been approved by Ice Miller, the bond attorneys. So yes, it's already.
Okay, very good.
Be my motion to accept or approve ordinance 3405.
Second that.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Manila,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, fire department. What's this about? Discuss purchase of land, discuss sale of land.
I think we want to discuss that, Mayor, in executive session. It's a contractual issue.
Okay, then we'll pass on that. Okay, police department. Consideration of approval of a contract with Credit Collection Partners for collection of those in default of payment of fines to the police department. What's this about?
I'll start off from Gail if she's got any input, if I miss anything. But basically, police chief was contacted, I think, by Ron Ellis, and with Williamson County Commissioner's Office, and I guess there was a Credit Collection Partners was hired by Williamson County several months ago, and they've had quite success in collecting some past due fees due to Williamson County. So. At any rate, this agreement would be between Credit Collection Partners and the City of Marion to focus on the city police department, the way I understand. And that's basically because there's a provision, I guess, in the law where we wouldn't be paying like a 30% fee to this company.
I was going to say, what is the fee that this outfit's going to want?
Yeah, I think with any police matters, if I'm not mistaken, it would be, we would basically get pass that 30% on to the person paying the fine.
It would be when the credit collection tries to collect, they'll collect the fine, the ordinance violation, or the traffic ticket, or the plus 30%.
Are we saying that they're going to have the fine, which
would be the fine assessed by the court?
We're going to get that. Then the collection agency is going to add their fee on top of the fine?
Yes, and that's according to statute 65 ILCS 51-2. I'll defer to our city attorney.
They could do that under the state statute?
Yes.
It is.
Boy.
Now,
Back in the day, once upon a time, we were able to collect this money by utilizing contempt powers at the court. Supreme Court basically has taken the position that you cannot do that because individuals who are charged with an ordinance violation don't have the opportunity to go to jail. It's just a fine only. But if you violate and not pay it, then that's contempt and you could go to jail. So the Supreme Court reasoned that if you're going to do that, you have to offer them an attorney, which basically means we'd be paying for the attorney to prosecute them if you're going to use contempt powers. Ultimately, what's happened in probably the last 4 years, even though the city has done well, our officers have done well writing our tickets and we've been prosecuting them, their turnaround in terms of these individuals paying that money has not been that great. It is not cost-effective to utilize the services of an attorney to go after these funds. But this company is a very large company. They've been doing this for a variety of different municipalities and governments. They're very successful. Their success rate that I saw last year was about 60%. It's pretty good.
What's the average time that they're successful? I mean,
that I don't know.
They work and they give updates to the department. Currently, Collection Credit Partners works with 65 out of the 102 counties in Illinois. They have quite a few, Jackson, Jefferson, Massac, around us that they work with. They were at Illinois Municipal League, and we talked to them up there, about what they did. And then I came back and Chief Tondini had talked to Ron Ellis from the Williamson County Commissioner, and Ron had stated in the 4 months they had used them for collections, they had obtained $100,000 in other checking. And this is for the police department. Unlike other departments, we've also, Anthony's going to be meeting with them on the water department collections, Anthony and Tracy and Terrence. This is actually, the police department has to do nothing. Unlike the company that came and did a huge presentation about logging onto our equipment and using their equipment and things, this company, our circuit clerk uploads the data to this, I mean, not on from the county computer, but uploads it into their web portal for credit collection, and then they work on the collections from that department. So our police department doesn't have to do anything except if money is collected, they will send it back with, and the web portal can be checked daily if they'd like. So we'll have a link to check in for the police department.
does anybody know how much we're owed total as far as fines?
I don't know, but I don't know for an exact number, but last time I looked at it was about 1.5 years ago. We had over $68,000 in uncollected fines in 3 years. That's enough to pay for several officers. And I don't know the current numbers.
Steve, have you had a chance to review this agreement?
Yes.
So everything looks good to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in other words, the city's not going to be out any money up front.
That's correct.
Actually, the city's not out any money on this. It's,
No, never.
no, this is just a collection agency.
Sounds good to me. What's your pleasure?
I'd put that in the form of a motion to enter into an agreement with Credit Collection Partners and the City of Marion.
Second.
Past due
Call
date.
the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
No.
Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, street department, tell us about the LED lighting.
I'll ask Superintendent Doug Phillips to come and explain his money-saving project here, Mayor, as usual, from the
Mayor,
Street Department.
Council. Recently, we done a LED light upgrade to a lot of our street lighting in Marion, and there were some lights that we wasn't able to get on that grant at that time. Ameren has offered another one, so we done researched all the lights that we didn't get on that one, and it came to 40 lights, and this would completely take care of all the street lights that we maintain ourselves. And if I purchase the lights, the City of Marion purchased the lights, it would be a cost of $26,191.90, and approximately $4,000 for labor to have them put up, would come to a total of $30,191.90. Ameren's incentive is $27,318.64. So the city would just be out for 40 lights to complete our streets on all LED lighting. We'd just be out $2,873.26.
Well, that's not a no-brainer.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good.
And the power bill, Doug, could you cover what this?
It's going to go down
I know
tremendously.
how much it pull per light now.
Well, it's just a
$1 something. Tell us.
Yeah, we're going from a 250 or a 400 watt light down to a 54 watt LED bulb, which burns little or nothing for power. So
saving.
Yeah, and it's a 10-year warranty too. So.
Now, how do they do that? Because don't they just charge us a monthly rate? Is that rate? Are we charged a monthly rate for streetlights?
Yes, but if you go to an LED, your rate changes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just like all the lights that we changed. Me and Steve went over that. All of our rates will go down. Yeah, so and this is Ameren doing this one here. So it's their incentive is to get the light power usage down. So.
Okay, very good. What's your motion?
The motion, we pay the bill of $2,873.26 to State Electric.
Second that.
Call the roll.
And we would also be approving the grant. Yeah, we're approving to accept the grant, and then we will take care of getting them, and then we'll get our money back when it's approved and when inspections are done.
Okay, did we call the roll?
No.
John, no, we have not called the roll.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay.
And I'd like to compliment Doug Phillips on his initiative on this. This is his doing from the word go, and he saved the city a ton of money. So I appreciate his efforts.
Compliment well deserved. Before we go on, I think I'll ask Steve to give us a short report about happening at the Municipal League. Had the Municipal League annual conference a week ago. Steve attended. He's also a member of the Home Rule Attorneys group, and so I've asked him to give us a short report on
The Illinois Municipal League is designed to help all of the cities meet and exceed with respect to the representation of its citizens. A lot of things that the Municipal League does is related to the regulatory powers of our legislature, trying to help make sure that some of the legislation is passed helps actually the municipal bodies. So much of what the state does is unfunded mandates that puts the cities in a position where they basically have to pay for state mandated programs that we really cannot afford. Our state has been moving in an ever generous position of taking the funds from the municipals and using it for other state projects. What the Attorneys Committee does is we look at a bunch of legislation that is going through Springfield, and all of us together talk about it, and with respect to different views of putting it to our legislatures in such a manner that might help the municipal bodies that we all represent. The attorneys that meet are approximately 30 to 25, and we meet on a regular basis. And we take a variety of different issues, such as the Airbnb, or some of the unfunded mandates that deal with retirement and our police and fire pensions, some of those activities as well. And we come up with potential ordinances that might be utilized by a variety of different organizations. I've been attending now for a little bit over 2 years, and I'm very thankful that we've been able to send me there. I believe that I've become a better attorney for the city because I do go. There is a lot of education opportunities that I have meeting with my peers from a variety of individuals where they do nothing more than represent municipal bodies. I represent a municipal body, but I also do other things, so I don't have the opportunities like they do to be able to spend the time that they do in order to meet some of the needs for the city of Marion. So I welcome the opportunity to be able to share with them some of our problems and listen to them and their guidance for me. The Municipal League has an annual meeting that the mayor and I and others attended recently. That also has a lot of opportunities for our board members to receive education so that they can represent the individuals of the city in a better manner, making sure that we all follow the law, making sure that we all are looking out for the interests of all those that we do in fact represent. So it is a wonderful thing. It is unfortunate that not very many cities down south are going to this meeting. Right now, Benton and Marion is the only ones that are represented in the south, and by south I mean south of Mattoon. Everybody else, there's about 40 different municipal bodies that are represented by these attorneys when we meet. So I want to thank the commissioners for allowing me to attend.
Thank you for going.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Appreciate the good work. You've done a great job representing the city. Okay, tell us about the Goddard Chapel, John.
Make a motion, we pay the invoice of $11,500 for the Covenant Church furniture. That is the final payment for the refurbishing of the pews. They've been brought back to the chapel and installed, and they look beautifully. I would like to have everybody go by and look at it.
How many pews do we have?
22.
22 pews. This is years ago. We had a cemetery commissioner who one day suggested that we get rid of the pews in the chapel. And I asked him why, and he said, well, nobody ever uses the chapel. And of course, we vetoed the idea, and I'm glad we did. Because the chapel has become quite an institution, and the pews have made a big difference there. So it's your motion we
pay this final invoice, 11,500.
11,500. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay.
Yeah, the chapel is being used a lot more too, Mayor. We have 3 weddings every weekend of this month. So it's starting to be utilized. Public's getting the idea that it's available, and it's also available for last rites or graveside rites at no charge.
You know, that's very interesting. People can get married there, and then when they die, they can have their funeral there.
Not much difference between a funeral. There's not much difference.
Is there a message there of some sort?
You know, the only difference is, Robert.
My niece got married there, and it's a very lovely church.
Yeah.
The only difference between a funeral and a wedding, the guy's smiling at the wedding. No difference. He's dead both times.
Okay. Did we approve that?
We haven't voted
Yes,
yet.
we did.
Have we voted?
We voted.
Yeah, we
Voted on that?
On the Goddard Chapel
did?
and the
Yeah, we
pews.
Yeah, we're
We're
good.
on to the cultural center.
Yeah.
Is that what you're?
Tutorial.
Okay.
Yeah, cultural.
Tell us about the new hire at the Civic Center.
The Civic Center Board and Executive Director would like to recommend Daniel Stieber as a part-time janitor at $9 per hour. This would be to just fill in when they have large events and need extra help.
What's your pleasure?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made, second, call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, what's this about? Coordinator of Children's Services at the library.
Well, we had many candidates that applied for the job that Sheila Fredman now occupies, and she is retiring this next week. And Shelley Hudspeth has been recommended among the many candidates that they interviewed. She has degree in reading and elementary education. She's very well experienced, and David and I would both, from the library director and I would both like to recommend her to the council.
Has she taught anywhere too?
Yes, she has.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
Yeah, he's got a great resume.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to hire Shelley Hudspeth as the coordinator of children's services at the Marion Carnegie Library.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. And I want to say that Sheila Fredman has been a stalwart worker at the library for quite some time. I won't mention the years because then somebody might figure out her age. But she's done a splendid job. She's been a great asset for the library and consequently for the city, and she certainly deserves our commendation. Okay, tell us about the hub. Our recommendations. There's Chris.
Council, Mayor, good evening. For Hub Recreation Center, we've got some higher recommendations, beginning with Keena Beasley for membership and cafe attendant at $9 per hour. The second one we need to remove from the recommendation for this evening. She's in the process of completing her pre-employment requirements, so we'll have her on next council agenda. So Jennifer Thomas will be removed from this evening's agenda. Third one is Annika Jansen with the name spelling correction to Jansen for a lifeguard position at $9.50 per hour.
Okay, that was your recommendations. What's your pleasure?
My motion to hire the above-mentioned employees at the hourly rates attached to their names.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, what about the swim instructor?
Second portion is job addition classifications for existing position of swim instructor for 2 part-time positions. And that's Faith King as swim instructor at $20 per hour and Samantha Moore as swim instructor at $20 per hour as well.
It's your recommendation. What's your pleasure?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, what's the HVAC rehabilitation? What's
I would like to take that to executive session, please.
You want to go into executive session for that? Okay.
Yes.
Ordinance 3406, having to do with the redevelopment agreement between Marion and Woodland Rental Properties. What about that?
And I want to call the council's attention. This is a pre-development agreement. We haven't actually ever had a pre-development agreement. We usually have redevelopment agreements. But as the council might recall, we are amending the Hillview TIF to include property that's on Morgan Avenue 7th or 17th Street that Roman Basie and Woodland Rental Properties recently purchased, and are going to create a lovely strip mall with several great, well, 7 to 8 different stores. And it's a pre-development because he has quite a few infrastructure costs to work on, and Glenn O'Brien would tell you he's got a very large sewer project. There isn't a main close to his property. And so the pre-development agreement is to try to help get some project and get some things. The council had already approved an inducement agreement to let this project go forward. It's a standard 70% to the developer for reimbursement of costs that they have incurred. and 30% to the city for our public structures costs. And it has a cap of $2,055,000, and he will spend quite a bit more on the building of the building. That's more infrastructure, land acquisition, and ground development, and then he's going to put a building on top of the structures. So I'd recommend this. It's there's not anything except it's called pre-development. The redevelopment agreement will come back to the council as soon as the amendment has been passed.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Vanilla,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
And Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, anything else we need to take up? Sure.
Ready. Okay, just want to remind everybody, got a large group here tonight. We're having our third annual electronic recycling at the training center on Boulevard Street, East Boulevard Street, October 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll have Boy Scouts there. There's just a lot of things you can bring. Computers, printers, batteries, a lot of things, old phones, TVs. We'll fill up a semi-tractor trailer full of old TVs.
Yeah.
How about yours this year?
Gee, that's such a beautiful console.
Okay, you're out.
The wood is magnificent.
Yeah.
I just hate to part with it.
There's no picture on it, but the cabinet's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for pictures.
It doesn't
Okay.
work.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, you're out. So anyway, just remind everybody.
wait a minute. You didn't give me a chance to answer. I just described it to you.
I took that. Okay, we'll come and get it.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Terrence and I'll be there to get it.
Hey, listen, this is one heavy dude. I mean, it takes...
Okay, we'll bring the street department with us.
Oh, okay, just tell me when, what time.
We'll let you know.
Okay.
Is that a Saturday?
Yeah, it's on Saturday. Yeah. And then I make a motion to pay the monthly bills as funds become available.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay.
Was there a
Consent?
Yes, there is a consent agenda.
Is there?
Yeah.
Consent.
Make a motion to pay the consent agenda.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay.
That's it for me.
Okay, Angelo. Jim?
Nope.
John?
I have a cemetery report if you'd like to hear it. In September, we had 19 burials for $5,300, and we sold 3 lots for $1,000. We brought you in $6,400 to the city. And we got to keep 190 of that for this cemetery. You got the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Sounds good. Keep up the, well, no, I won't say keep up the good work because somebody might think I'm encouraging people to die.
Well, no, we're alive and well out there. Things are
And
going
we
good.
don't want to do
No,
that.
no. That's all I got.
Okay, I think we need to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
For real estate and
And personnel.
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 Personnel. Real estate and
Personnel. Okay.
Personnel. Okay, need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanilla,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay.
Mars.